Hey KU fans, welcome back to KU Sports Extra here at KUsports.com with Ben Smith. I'm Matt Tate, and it's exhibition season.
Apparently so. It felt weird to me.
Did it?
I don't know. I think maybe just got too much football on my mind these days. But
listen, two things.
Yeah.
Football's worth paying attention to still.
There you go.
That hasn't happened in a long time.
Right.
and yeah, I mean it's obviously still October, and
Yeah.
you know, just the very infant stages of basketball, which is probably good news for Bill Self. This was not the best performance you've ever seen, especially early. A little bit sloppy, a little bit sluggish, a lot of rust, and you know, he's folded some newcomers in there. He's without Devon Dotson.
That's a big part of it.
Right? Yeah, I think that got overlooked tonight. People dissecting this game, really looking at it. It's an 86-56 win by Kansas over Fort Hays State. It's not like it was catastrophically bad, but I think when you're in that moment, you do look at, well, this happened and why, and this happened and why. Devon Dotson didn't play.
Right.
It's a huge part of it.
And Isaiah Moss didn't play. And I mean, that's a guy that can stretch the floor when
Right.
that was obviously an issue. Eventually, KU got some three-pointers to fall. And
Right.
oddly enough, it was Marcus Garrett kind of making that happen. Looked comfortable.
Did look comfortable.
Shooting from three.
Wide open.
Yeah, I mean, was the first one he hit off a Christian Brown kind of drive and
Yeah.
he kicked it out?
Yeah.
Just looked totally confident in taking that shot and looked smooth. I mean, that's a good sign. This is only an exhibition. It doesn't ultimately mean anything, but it's got to be a good sign that Marcus Garrett is that comfortable as a shooter and he's feeling confident about his shot. That's a good development.
I agree. Let's not forget, too, that late in the season, for a lot of last season, he had that ankle injury.
That's true.
He was never fully right, and as much as you think shooting is here, it's from the base up. And so part of his discomfort surely was from that ankle and just not feeling right in his own body. So you put all that behind you, you work on it in the offseason, and you come out and you start with a performance like that. What was he? 4 of 7. Yeah. So 3 of 6, I think, in the second half or in the first half. So, you know, he definitely looked good. He looked really good when you consider that he was doing all that while running the point, too.
Yeah.
KU has a backup point guard, and his name's Marcus Garrett. I mean, it's
he also was probably going to start off the ball.
Right, for
And
sure.
then, you know, you just have to kind of stagger and make sure that Garrett is on the floor when Devon Dotson comes off.
There you go. Yeah, that's exactly right. And look, they're going to play a lot tougher competition
Yeah.
than Fort Hays State. So he is not Devon Dotson. He is not, oh, this is the perfect backup point guard. But in a lot of ways, he is. And I thought his defense was so good tonight. Ochai Abadi mentioned it in the postgame. Ochai got a couple of steals off of his effort, but a lot of those were set up by Marcus Garrett just pressuring the hell out of the ball and making it hard to throw passes, and then Ochai could get in front of him. So defensively, I thought they were pretty good, other than Fort Hays State getting loose for a few threes, especially to start the second half where they cut it to 2 and Self had to call a timeout. Other than that, I thought this team probably won this game with their defensive intensity at the right times.
Yeah, I was impressed by Brown's defense as well. Moved better than I expected. Fought, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
and just sliding is such a big part of playing defense,
Sure.
especially on the perimeter. And there was never a point where I felt like he was just getting, you know, badly beaten either off the cut or off the dribble by anybody. So impressive opener for him, I thought, on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, all three freshmen.
And he's basically, at least for any time that Dotson is out, he's your secondary ball handler.
Sure.
Right after Marcus Garrett.
And you mentioned he made a nice driving kick.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got some natural ability there. He just knows how to play. All these freshmen do. I mean, Jalen Wilson got the start, played aggressive, didn't shoot it well, but showed flashes of what he can do. Tristan Inaruna, same thing. None of those guys shot it well, but they played a combined 68 minutes. They all made multiple buckets. They kept their turnovers down. Huge thing. They had 1 turnover between the 3 freshmen. That's a great place to start. They're going to get so much better, and they're going to find their role on this team or their roles on this team. And it's just such a different team than last year. You can already see that. They're so much more athletic. There's so much more depth. We didn't even talk about the big guys yet. We will real quick before we get out of here. A rough night for Udoka. You wrote about that.
Yeah.
But also for Silvio, I thought he got active on the glass. That helped save his night. David McCormick was really active on the glass and just active everywhere. But those big guys did not dominate a smaller Division II team like you'd expect them to do. And you know what? It doesn't happen like that always in these games because these Division II teams, Mark Johnson, the Fort Hays State coach, even said it. We have to take away something.
Right.
So we're going to throw everything we got at these guys in the paint, and hope they miss some shots outside. That's our only chance. And that happened. Every time they've forced the ball inside, Udoka turns and there's 4 guys around him and he has nowhere to go, and that's frustrating.
Well, and oftentimes, whether it was Udoka or Silvio or McCormick posting up, I mean, there was basically 2 guys shade, a guy kind of fronting over the top and then someone shading it to a point where you can't throw that pass over the top. So, I mean, you couldn't even get them touches. There were no angles to get the ball inside. So, Fort Hays State did a terrific job of just taking away KU's bigs. And, I mean, when KU's basically playing 2 centers a lot of the time, because, I mean, DeSosa used to play center a couple of years ago, the last time we saw him play.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, Udoka, DeSosa, McCormick, you could argue that they're all centers more than any of them as a power forward. So if you're trying to play them together against a team that is making a point to just clog the paint, the offense just is going to look clunky. So I think that was kind of the result.
Exactly what happened, and it's going to be interesting because a lot of teams are going to play that way. They're going to see that a lot. They're going to face that a lot, and this was in a lot of ways the perfect first test for that, because now they've seen it. Go back to the drawing board, watch this, and try to figure something else out. I bet they look a lot different next week on Halloween night when they play Pitt State. I think Devon Dotson will be back. Self said he's expecting him back this weekend. He didn't have the boot on tonight. He'll be fine. And if you can get him back and you can sort of tinker with that big man approach, this is going to be a much different looking team than the one we saw tonight. But the one we saw tonight won it easily, 86-56. Basketball's back at Allen Fieldhouse. Benton's going to go write some football. I'm going to go to sleep. We'll talk to you guys again on another KU Sports Extra. Thanks for checking out this episode. KU wins at 86-56 over Fort Hays State in the Exhibition Open.